Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So this is the part 4 of our MERN card project, add to cart functionality, and this is the main functionality. That's why I'm making this project for you using the Redux Toolkit and the best possible way and with the proper best practice. So let's do this. So our first functionality would be add to product from the home page. Okay, when we add product from the home page, and it will be add by one only because we don't have any control. Let me open our recent MERN card project. So now we are in the MERN card project. I need to run my backend and frontend, okay, so that I can show you what we are doing. Okay, so first I need to go to cd backend and run our server, npm run dev. Okay, that will run our backend server. Then we need to work with our frontend. To go to cd client, so we are now in the client, and here npm start to run our React project. So basically our main agenda is to add to cart from the home page using the Redux Toolkit, where I'm going to work with the cart slice functionality. Okay, in the cart slice we will have our reducers and our actions, all the actions called add to cart, clear something from the cart, remove something from the cart, or increase the quantity of that cart, and also decrease the quantity of that cart if it is exist, definitely. And also we're gonna add to cart from the detail page, where we can provide a quantity by the user, 5, 10, 2, 3, whatever the user gives. So the quantity will be given from the detail page, not from the home page. So our add to cart functionality would be same, but we will have our logic so that we can handle by simply one add to cart functionality. We can handle two pages. In detail page also we will provide a quantity, and in the normal home page also we will just give a static one quantity. So these are the 5 or 6 functionality that I want to add. Okay, so you're gonna use local storage to store our cart items, and we're gonna fetch this information and show it into our UI. Okay, so this is the thing we have to do. So let me show you, this is the main code that we have to work on, but at this moment this theme toggle functionality is not defined properly because you're going to add it later. And in the home, if we go to add product, we have this functionality set up. In the cart project we don't have anything, and in the wishlist page also we don't have anything. Okay, so mainly this is our main project. If you go to detail, and we see this is the information, and here we can pass our own quantity and add to cart based on it. Okay, so this is the functionality we have to build, and also from this home page as well we're gonna add to cart as well, and this will add the cart quantity by one only. Okay, not more than that. This is our backend. As you know, this I already worked with the backend in the first section of the video in the playlist, in the first video. So I have already worked with the backend from the first video. Then I have worked with the RTK query fetching, mutation part by part. So I highly suggest you to watch those videos as well. Okay, so definitely understand that properly. And also this video that I'm going to show you here in this screenshot, this JavaScript logic building, you need to understand this a lot and see this video properly so that you can understand how the JavaScript is helping to build these complex logics, and how we can implement all these logics using the pure JavaScript code. And Redux is all about pure JavaScript. If you are really good in JavaScript and know all these functionality features and inbuilt methods, and you're going to understand everything in this Redux course. Okay, so in the features we have worked with our product API. This is our RTK query functionality for add, fetch by a product, fetch a single product by its ID, and also fetch all the products. So these are done. Okay, so that's why we're saying all this information. Now we want to work with our main functionality, which is cart. So here I'm going to create a simple thing called cart. Okay, cart slice.js. So similarly in the product we have a product slice. Now we need to work with the cart, so that's why I'm renaming it cart slice. In the cart slice we have to import create slice from Redux Toolkit. Okay, from Redux Toolkit we need to import create slice. Okay, so suppose you have a cart functionality, you will create a cart slice. If you have a product functionality, if you want to add all of those things, you need to have a product slice. So those works like that. You can copy all those code here. You don't need to write same thing again and again. This will make this video too long. I don't want to make it too long. So first we have the initial state. This is very important for Redux and Redux Toolkit, and you need to export const product slice instead of product. It should be cart. Name it cart slice, and this should be carts. This slice name should be carts, and the reducer will have all of our functionality, and this is the initial state that we have here. And then we need to export it by default, and it should be cart slice dot reducer. So So this is our main reducer. Cart slice works as a reducer, and in the reducer we'll have our functionality. Okay, so we have to set up all of those things inside our store, and in the store we already have a product slice. Now we need to give it a name, cards, and this will be cart slice. Okay, so we need to import cart slice, import cart slice from features cards cart slice. We need to import it. As you can see, we have imported that, and this is the cards that we need to get from our UI. Okay, so if we use selector and get the information from these cards, you can get it. So this is our main Redux data. This is our main cards data. Okay. So this is the thing that we have to set up in our Redux store. Now we can get all the information from the cards store very easily by just calling this one. And we need to go to cart slice again, and here we need to write our functionality. First one is to add to cart, and I'm gonna name it add to cart. And as you can see, it is suggesting me, and first parameter should be state, and then we have an action, and here we have to write something. Here I'm gonna name a simple initial state. Initial state should be cart items. Okay, initial state should be cart items. Here we will store all of our cart items, because there will be an array of cart information. So initial state, it is empty. And also we need cart total amount, also make it 0, because beginning the cart total amount is 0. We didn't buy anything, so its total is 0, and cart items is empty. And here later we're gonna implement some more features here, but these are the two initial state that we need. Okay, so here we'll have our cart feature, and then we need to have a clear all cart. This will clear every single cart. And here also we'll have our state action, but it gives you all the action. Here we're gonna name state dot cart items is equals to empty. Let me write it again. Here we'll go to state, and we have a property called cart items, and this is accessing this one. As you can see, it is showing it and highlighting it, and make sure it's empty. So when you call this clear cart functionality, all of your cards would be empty. And okay, so this is very important functionality, and we're gonna name it clear cart items. Simple. And then we'll have our functionality for remove. Okay, when you want to remove any item from the cart, it can remove it. Okay, and it should be remove item. Okay, and also it will take the state and action, and here tab 9 is really helping me. Okay, and you need to filter it to do that. Okay, it's very simple, and save it to your local storage. And then we need to increment quantity. Okay, increment quantity, also it takes action. Same thing again and again, increment quantity, and we'll need one more functionality for the decrement, and this should be decrement. Okay, nice. It will increase the quantity amount and it will decrease it, and this one removes it, and this one clears it, and this one add to cart. Also we're gonna from the home page, you're gonna handle everything, this quantity feature, and also from the home page and also from the detail page, you're gonna handle all of the logic, just one line of functions, only one functions. So this is the modular way you're gonna do this. Okay, and you can reuse it into many applications. So that's why the best practices is always I recommend, because you can use this concept, or if you clear those concepts, you're gonna use it in many cases also. Okay, so basically these are the 4 or 5 functionality that we need to have. So first one is to add to cart. So what are the information that we're gonna get? We must have some information. So let me set up everything from our application. So if we go to our product card, simple, here we get the information like ID, title, image, category, description, all of the information from the product object that we have passed. Nice. And these are the things that we can access. When you click on add to cart, as you can see, we have the layout set up. In the previous video, I already set the layout of all the thing. If you miss that, you need to watch all the previous videos. So add to cart, here I'm going to on click, we're gonna make a function that will handle something. So here I'm gonna give it an arrow function, and I'm gonna name it add to cart handler. So add to cart handler. So here you will pass some parameters. So we need to make these functions, make these handlers. We have to make this handler, and we can make this handler. Here I'm gonna write add to cart handler. So we're gonna const add to cart handler. As you can see, tab9 is suggesting me and helping me to code. That's awesome. And I'm gonna write console.log to check if this button works. When you click on this button, this pop-ups, okay, add to cart. And this is the handler that we must have. When we click on add to cart, this should fire. And this is the best practice. You can also directly call from this and make it add to cart. Add to cart. You can dispatch something, and let me show you what we mean by dispatch. Suppose here const dispatch, and this is pure Redux thing, and use dispatch. Use dispatch, we need to import use dispatch. Import use dispatch, and use dispatch is coming from React Redux. We can send some information, send some data from using the action from our UI component. As you can see, product card is a UI component. We can pass all of our information directly using the dispatch and call of our Redux functionality, this card slice. Here, when we call this, it will give you all the information in the action parameters. This is the parameter that will get the information. Okay. And so if we go to product card and call it add to cart handler, here we can call those information. Okay. But here we just call it like that, and this would be a really good practice as an arrow function, add to cart handler. Okay, and here we can pass parameters. If you want to pass parameters in this handler, you must have to use this handler, otherwise you can keep it empty. But if you want to add a parameter here, you must write this kind of syntax. Okay, so what the error? Okay, so this was the error here, and we can pass our whole product object. Okay, this is the whole product object that we want to pass into the cart. Simple. And also we need to pass this same thing again here. So we are actually passing this whole product object inside this add to cart handler, so that we can work with it. We can add this thing to our cart items. Okay, so keep in mind that this product object doesn't have a quantity. Okay, so let me show you. If I just console.log this, and when I click on this, and before I do that, I have to just log it out. Okay, let me close all those things. When I click on this button add to cart, as you can see, all the information based on this product, iPhone 13 Pro, category, created at, image, price, everything is coming here. Right, if you just click on this S22 Ultra and suppose OnePlus 11, as you can see, Samsung information is there, and also for OnePlus is there. So they are all dynamic. Okay, so we are clicking on this button, we are clicking on this add to cart button, and what it does on click, it calls this function add to cart handler that we have created, and it takes the parameter product, whichever product object that we want to pass. And this is the thing we are holding inside to add to cart handler, these parameters, and we're console.logging this. Simple logic. If you know simple JavaScript, this is the way you need to work on in React. Okay, so it is done perfectly, but you have to call some actions from our cart slice. So if we go to cart slice, and as you can see, we have made this functionality add to cart, but we have to export this thing. So how can export it? Export const, and here we need to pass from cart slice dot actions. Actions is a thing that will give you all the action that you have created under these reducers. Okay, so you have to export reducers, and also if there is some actions in the reducer, you have to export them, like add to cart, clear cart, and increment quantity. This is a very important functionality, decrement quantity, and remove an item from the quantity. So those 1 2 3 4 5, this 5 functionality, this is very important. Okay, so we have to implement all of them. If we go to product card, we already called dispatch and get our use dispatch from React Redux. Here we can call this hook. Okay, here we can dispatch. In the dispatch, here we can add to cart. Add to cart. Okay, so add to cart is coming from the features cards. So this is the thing we want. Add to cart from the features cart slice. We exported that. Remember, we exported them from the here. As you can see, we exported that. So this is the thing we're using. So in the dispatch, we have to pass add to cart. We have to, from the dispatch, we need to call add to cart so that we can access this cart slice. This functionality we need to hook on. Okay, so that we can pass information from here, and here we're gonna process all the logic, all the business logic. So that's why Redux is very different from our UI. We have to just pass information using the dispatch and call this functionality, and here we need to pass our product that we want to work on. And this is the information that we passed, product information from our UI component using this add to cart, and this comes from the cart slice. And now if you go to cart slice, as you can see, now we have the product. And if you go to console.log, we have to action.payload, we have the information. So always remember that the information that we passed from the UI component should be in the action.payload. But if you have more property like action.payload.product.cart, you can add it later. Okay, so you will get all of the information. So if you write add to cart, as you can see, you get the information. But the problem is, if you go to Redux and in the cards, as you can see, the cart item is empty at this moment. We didn't add anything, but we call it. As you can see, it is called. So what happened if we go to, and this is the states. Okay, so in the carts state, and this cart states is actually coming from our store. As you can see, these cards, because we assigned this cart slice. And this cart slice is coming from this cart slice reducer. We exported it and use it into our store. So that's why we are getting this information, cart items, and because in the carts reducer we have these are the properties that we have in the cart items and cart total amount. Okay, and this is the thing we're going to manipulate later. In the action, as you can see, we have to add to cart. In the payload, these are the information that we passed. In the payload object, you see all the information that we want to pass. So this is the information that we are holding here. But remember that this is normal. This is not very simple, because in the product we don't have a quantity. As you can see, there is no quantity. How can you do that? Because in the product model we didn't have any quantity, but the cart should have a quantity. Okay, and cart information should be on local storage. You need to set it. So they are quite different. So we have to go to product cart, and here we have to pass the information, not like that. We need to pass the information like product. Okay, and product is product, or you can write simple product. And quantity. Okay, quantity is a different property. Quantity is not inside this product. Remember that. Quantity should be added on cart system, not on product data. But in the cart we are passing the product system or the product object so that we can work with it. We can add this product information to the cart. But quantity is different. Quantity should be added later onto the cart object. Okay, manually. We're gonna do it manually in our Redux. Okay, so let me add one more product, and you can just give it 1, or you can convert it to number. It's up to you, but it is a based case. If you add a quantity from the user given input, then you have to use this. But in this case, we don't need it. Okay, just pass this quantity is equals to 1. And suppose I just keep it 1. Okay, so we are passing only one quantity from our home component. Okay, home page. Okay, add to cart. It will add only one quantity. So we are passing quantity and product. So we have different thing here. Before we had only a product that we passed, but now we are passing object. This is a product object and quantity object. So this should be different. When we add this thing again, now as you can see in the payload, now we see two things. First one is product and quantity, but previously we had seen in the payload all the thing that we have here, properties, all the properties are spread, okay, because we passed only the product information. Here on the other hand, we passed a product and quantity object. In the product object, we'll have product ID, product.image, product.title, product.category, all of those things. And in the separate object, after the product, we have a quantity, we passed 1. So we passed 1. If we pass 2, it should be 2. So we pass separate thing. This is very important and very logical. Now if we go to add to a cart here, so if we just go to product and cart slice and add to cart here, if I go to action.payload.product, now you see, if I just refresh it, add to cart, as you can see, we have a type add to cart, and in the payload we see product information and our quantity, okay. And in the console.log, as you can see, let me remove it and add to cart again. As you can see, these are the information that we get, okay. So these are the information that we get. So it is very simple, and because we are accessing the product object, we're gonna get its all the information like category, price, title, all of those things, okay. So remember that if I just write action.payload only, it should be different. So understanding this is very important. And if I just add to cart again, as you can see, then it's different. If we go to the product slice, as you can see, action.payload, we are just printing this product information and its quantity, because product is a different object and quantity is a different one, and both of them inside action.payload. If we write product and save it and refresh it, add to cart again, and here, as you can see, it gives because we are accessing the product object also, it is giving us all the product information, not the quantity, but quantity different. But if you write action.payload.quantity, okay, then it should be 1. If I just add there, as you can see, 1, it gives only 1 because the quantity is different object, okay. So that's why I wanted to show you what the difference is. So now you understand everything properly. Now we need to check if it exists in the cart, then what should we do, okay. Then we need to check, if not, then add this product to cart items, okay. So let me write const existing cart product index, okay. Existing cart product index, because this should be an index of the particular product. So then we need to write state.cart items dot find index, okay. Find index will take an item, and it should be an item. Make sure that item dot product, because we need to go to its product, because this cart object, this cart should have a product, and we need to check its ID is equals to action dot payload dot product dot underscore ID. We have to check by its ID. So first we need to go to action.payload, then we get the product object, and in the product object we must have an ID so that we can check it if it is already there. And in the cart items also we'll have a product ID that will check if it is matched with the cart items, then there is some existing data, and then it will say if existing, as you can see, it is helping me again, if the cart item index, cart product item index, if the existing cart products index is greater than or equal 0, it means that there is some product information exist into our carts. Then we can write state.cart items, okay. Cart items is our main array, and in the main array we need to access this product index, okay. Suppose product index of 0, 1, 2 or 3, because it is already added, then you just need to increase its quantity and dot quantity, add a property called quantity, because this is a cart item. Cart object is different, this is not product. You can assign a single property called quantity inside the cart, and this is the thing we must have, okay. So quantity plus is equals to 1. it will increase the quantity of the cart item of that particular index quantity is equals to 1. It means that we need to go to, suppose, cars in the 0 index. This is the 1 product information, and just increase this quantity to plus is equals to 1, this 1. So it just go to that particular product index and increase this cart quantity 1. So this is the thing that we have written here. Okay, so this is very important. And here else we can do all of the else. We're gonna add a new product, add a new product to cart items, assembled item, and we can, here we're gonna assemble our item or the product item. Okay, so how we can push it? We have to push some data. So assembled item is equals to, here we need to pass action.payload, and as you can see here I have used in the triple dot operator in the action.payload. This will spread all the information, and also you can console.log this, console.log to check how it looks. Assembled item, but at this moment we don't have anything there, so we cannot do anything. So let me check if it is working or not, and it is on line 31. Assembled item, let me print this. So in the assembled item, as you can see, assembled item, we get this information, product information and its quantity. So this whole information is spread, and it means that we are passing all the information that is coming from the user panel, from the UI. Action.payload is giving us all the product information, and we also have a quantity. We need to assemble that. Okay, now we need to push that. Okay, and then state.cartItems dot push that assembled item. This is the item that we have passed from the action.payload. Okay, now in the cart items we will have like all the products information and the quantities set up. To set up this to local storage, but before that we have to do one more logic. We have to have two logic. If this action.payload dot quantity is greater than 1. Okay, if the action.payload dot quantity is greater than 1, this is for the detail. Here we will have our different kinds of quantity that would be given by the particular user. So if it is given by users, then it should be greater than 1. If the quantity is greater than 1, suppose the quantity I have given here 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you can pass it from the add to cart from the detail page. So for the detail page I'm doing it. If the action.payload.quantity greater than 1, then we're going to assemble the item in a different way. We're going to copy this, and here we can pass it here. Okay, so you're going to do it again, and we're going to pass all the information of the product information and spread it is information. And in the quantity object we need to pass action.payload.quantity, because we already passed the quantity. Remember, if we go to product card, we already passed the quantity. Okay, and in the detail page you're gonna pass the user given quantity here, but this is for the home page, so that's why you don't need that. It is always be default to 1. So you can write it here. So if you go to the cart slice, you can write action.payload.quantity. This is for the detail page. This is, let me write a documentation. This is for the detail page. Quantity given by user. Definitely quantity would be given by user, so that's why action.payload.quantity would be coming from the user panel. Okay, users panel. And then you're gonna pull the item. Else you're gonna copy this thing, copy and paste, simple. Then the quantity should be default to 1. Set it to local storage, set to local storage. So how can you do that? So local storage to set items, you just pass in the local. Here you can, this is the way to pass in the information to the local storage. So you write local storage to set item and give it a key name. This can be anything, but I name it key name cart items, and json.stringify. This is very important, because cart item doesn't, you cannot access cart items information directly. You need to to pass some information into the local storage, you have to stringify that JSON. Okay, and then you can pass this state dot cart items. So here we need to check something. If we have a local storage dot get item and cart items, it should be cart. Make sure it is perfectly written. If there is some information in local storage, then we're gonna json.parse, and then we're gonna json.parse. If you want to get some information from the local storage, you have to write json.parse, and we are getting the information from local storage dot get item and from the cart item. Otherwise this should be empty. So when you just reload the application for the first time or getting the information should all, if it check if it is already into the local storage, that you're gonna see some information. So it should be there. Okay, so press comma and cart total. So this is very simple. I think you can understand a lot of logics in this video. I think this video is really important for you guys. Okay, so these are all for your logics. So we check if it is already exist, then if it exists, we're gonna pass a quantity and make sure is quantity plus is equals to 1, so that we can increase the quantity, not adding again and again. Okay, and then the local storage we added some information. Now we have this information called carts. This is the way we're gonna get the carts information from the reducer, and we're gonna call cart items. Okay, so that we can get it. When we add some information, the local storage will have the information, so we have to check it first. Okay, so let's check and refresh our application. First one is iPhone, definitely. Okay, and we need to check local storage get item, and it should be cart items. I hope you can see it properly. As you can see in the array object, in the product, we have some information called id underscore id, image, title, all of the information. And in another object we have a quantity that we passed here. So this should be an array of object because this is a cart items and basically it is an array. And here in the cart items we have we have to go to its object product, and then we can get its information. And also we can already get the quantity directly from cart item cart dot quantity, but to get the product information we need to go to cart dot product because it's inside the product object. Okay, and the quantity we added directly. So we have to just render that out. Cart page. In the cart page we have to just copy some code. Go to our cart page, and here we can just directly get this information. Okay, so the return in the div we are getting everything. Div we are getting every information, and at this moment this should be total $total, and this should be a number, suppose 1000 or 10,000. At this moment it should be static. And then we have a cart item, so we're gonna map each cart, and we need to copy some more thing. Okay, and in the component we need to go to cart. Okay, and here also this should be our cart. Here we need to pass all the thing. At this moment we don't have to add this on click handler at this moment. Okay, simple. And we don't need to add those things. This should be price, and this should be quantity. This should be quantity. Okay, and we're gonna get the information here. This should be title, and this should be category, and this should be image. Okay, so we need to map some information. We need to map each of those things. So if we go to the cart page, and here we're gonna map this. So we're gonna get the whole cart items data from Redux Toolkit. So const, we're gonna get all the items from use selector. Use selector is coming from React Redux, and it helps us to get all the information from our Redux store, okay, to our UI, because the cart page is actually our UI. We have to get the information here, and it will call state. It will take a state and state.carts. Okay, so just give it a type check, because if the state has any carts item, okay, in the cart store, if we have some information, that we're gonna get it. And from carts we need to go to cart items. We need to get that object. Okay, so why it's important? If we go to store and hover over the cart, as you can see, these are the property that we have inside the carts store. and cart items and cart total amount. So we need to access the cart items at this moment. So here we have to go to cart page and cart items that we have to get from the stock.carts. And now as you can see, you can console.log as well, but let me check. I think it should work automatically because I have full confidence on it. You can console.log to check it out if you have some information there. Okay, so here we will pass cart items that map each cart, and we need to import cart, and cart will have its ID and the cart information, and this is the cart we have to paste and pass inside this cart. Okay, here this is the information that we get, and now you can destructure that. Okay, so here instead of this, like add this, because in the cart we have to go to the product. If I just go to, as you can see, we in the cart items, we need to go to the product object, then we can access its property. Okay, and our cart.product.image, and this should be cart.product.title, cart.product.title, and let me just type check it. It is very good practice. Cart.product.title, you can copy this and paste this. Okay, and this should be category. Okay, category, and this is a remove button, and this should be cart.quantity. Okay, we can directly access quantity because this quantity is not inside this product object. Remember that this is very important. This quantity is not inside this product, it is outside. It is not a thing of a product, it's a thing of cart. Okay, so for cart system we have to get this per quantity, not for product. Okay, and this should be is price, and this should be cart.product because product has a price, product.price. Okay, then we can get this. I think it's done. So let me check this thing, and we have an error, so let me check it. Description is assigned but never used. Cart page, the href valid if you can provide a clear cart handler is not defined. Okay, clear cart handler is not defined. So okay, so this one, clear cart handler, we can already make it to make the cart empty the cart, simple, and const empty the cart. You can just dispatch const dispatch is equals to use dispatch from React Redux, and we're gonna call this clear all cart, and this should be coming from our clear all cart is coming from our cart slice, and it clears everything. Okay, so if I go to just save it and go to cart slice, because this clear carts removes everything, and then we need to write local storage dot set item and make sure it's empty, and we need to set it to local storage again. So it is clear all cart is the main functionality that will empty our cart, and we go to cart page and empty our cart. We can empty this. We have to find it, this one. Okay, and we don't need any parameters, so that's why we can make it like that. Clear cart handler, and it doesn't take any parameter, and it's done. Okay, so cart is not defined. Let me check it. Okay, so if I just go to our cart, clear the cart again, so let me check what's going on. Add to cart, so we added some information, and if we go to our cart page, we don't see anything. Let me go to Redux and carts and cart items. We have some information, as you can see. We cart items, we definitely had some information, but we are not seeing it. Okay, got it. It should be cart items. Okay, cart items, not this. Okay, it is cart items. It is cart items. So there is some spelling mistake, so that's why we didn't get anything. So let me refresh it. So it's not defined, so there is some problem at line number 47, cart page, line number 47. Okay. So there is a check. Okay, there is a check. If the cart item has length, cart item length is equals to 0, it says no item left. Otherwise it says clear the item. Okay, so let me check. Okay, so now it works. So we have the information with the cart. So if we clear this, it is clear, it says no item left. So this text is dynamic. Now add OnePlus, this Samsung and iPhone. Okay, and let me go to cart. As you can see, they are added. Beautiful. Now we have to calculate everything, the total amount based on it. Okay, so before that, the main functionality should be onto the quantity. Okay, so we have to go to each of the quantity and increase its quantity or decrease its quantity. Okay, so before that we have to check if it works for our detail page. So here we have to do this. So let me remove everything from the cart, and here we need to go to just go to detail page and give it a particular level 5, and we have to work with this. Okay, so if we want to work with this, we need to go to our product detail page, and in the product detail page we have to do this. Very important. Okay. Here, as you can see, we have a store, we have a state to set the quantity. So by default it's 1, definitely by default it's 1, and it says get the product by its quantity, and this is the detail page, right? In the detail page also we have to work with this, and the value should be the quantity user given, and they will give the information e.target.value by the user, and make sure its type is number. Okay, and this is the information we have to pass. So here we're gonna call this thing again. Here we need to dispatch again, because this is the UI component, detail page is UI component. From UI to store or from UI to Redux Toolkit slice, we have to pass some information. Okay, so to do that we need to call use dispatch, okay, from React to Redux, and also we need to create a handler. Okay, so where's the handler? Add to cart. Okay, so here on click, pass some information. So it should also name as add to cart handler, and here we need to pass the whole product information, this product data. Okay, you are getting everything. This product we need to pass add to cart handler. So we can copy this, and here we have to make this add to cart handler. Here we have to pass the product, okay, the product that we want to add, and here I'm going to call it using the dispatch. We need to pass the same add to cart. This is our cart slice, and it takes 2 parameters. It takes first object, you need to pass the product which want to pass, and this quantity is what the user given. Okay, user given quantity, and this quantity should be set quantity, and it should be quantity by the user given, and this quantity we just wrap it inside a number. Inside number we need to pass this quantity, because the user may be given some string input, then we need to convert it to number. Okay, and it should pass. In the home page it is only 1, we don't need to have a user given input. Okay, but in detail page we need to have that, and add 5 of the information, or the 5 of the iPhone 13. Let me add it, and now it should go to cart. As you can see, the quantity is 5. If I zoom in, as you can see, this works without any issues. Now we need to work with our this remove item. Okay, remove item, and the clear item is also done. So we need to work with the remove item, but at this moment the remove item doesn't work, because the remove is really easy. You don't need to do anything. First we need to go to our product slice or cart slice. Now we need to go to our cart slice and work with the remove. Okay, so clear is done. Now then we need to work with the remove. So const updated cart items, updated cart items. Here we need to write a logic state dot cart items dot filter. You can write like this, and the tab 9 gives you the suggestions. You need to filter it out. To remove an item from the cart, from this array, you can use this way. So if you need to go to item, and in the item we have a product. Okay, because we are passing the object product. So in the cart object, we will definitely go to our is product object to get its product ID. So this is the thing we have to check. We have to check cart item whichever product ID, and it is not equal action dot payload dot, and now we are passing action dot payload dot product dot ID. Okay, so we are passing this information. So we have to go to action.payload.cart. We have to go to one more level, action.payload.cart.product.id. Okay, so this is the information. So I think now I can delete it. Now we need to set the thing to state.cart items. We need to set the updated cart items and set to local storage just set items, this thing. So in every cases you might have to write it in clear, also write it for removing an item, then you need to set the local storage again so that you can keep the state updated into the local storage. Okay, but because when you refresh this, it should work as well, because if you just refresh it again, as you can see, there is quantities remains because it stays into the local storage. Now the filtering is also done. Filtering is very simple, remove an item. So let me check it. Remove, it is not removed. Let me check. Oh, okay, we didn't add this thing here. We need to go to remove. Let me find the remove button. Okay, it should be inside here, and it should be remove. Okay, so here on click item handler, remove the item, and remove item handler also takes the cart. Okay, so this is the thing that we are getting, and const remove item handler, and here also we need to pass something. This should be a cart. Okay, this is the cart information that, and we need to call dispatch. Okay, and this is import from the cart slice, and here we need to pass which item we want to remove, and here we can pass this cart. Okay, we have passed the cart. Okay, so now cart has information. In the cart we need to go to one level deeper if you want to get the product information, as you can see. But for the quantity, we don't need to go deeper. We can just go to cart.quantity to get it. Okay, so this is very important. This is the thing from the beginning I'm telling you, this is very important. So you can, this is a simple one, so you don't need to write object here. You can directly pass remove item, and in the remove item, if we go to our cart slice here, and this is the item we have to pass, and the cart item have a product ID. And we have passed the information cart, so action.payload.cart, and it has also information in the product. So we need to check that cart product ID is equals to inside whichever the information that we currently holding inside the cart items, and cart items have also information in the item. Each item will have a product ID. That way we can match it. If it is not equals to that, and return us all the items except this item that we want to delete. Simple way. If you will just understand JavaScript logics a little bit, this remove item works the same way as always. Here we can, and now if we just remove it, it should remove. And here we need to add one more information, and need to go to cart, and let's check it out. So it doesn't work. Let me check why it is not working, and go to our Redux and remove item, and go to actions, payload, product, and quantity. And why it's not working? Let me check. It is not removed. So let me remove it. We are passing the information action.payload.product.id. If it is not that, then remove it. Okay, so I just removed it. Let me check, and removing. Okay, it is removed. As you can see, it is removed. In the payload we have a product and quantity, so we have to check. We need to go to product, because in the action we already have product and quantity. So the product.id, this is the information that we passed, and we need to remove this thing. And item.product, this thing is inside the cart. We have to check that if that thing is already there. If it doesn't match, okay, then filter it out, give me all the thing except this one that we want to delete, this product payload product ID, except this one we want to return every other element. So this is how we can delete it. And for this one it already works fine. So it's working nice here now. So let me go to home page, add all of there, and let me go to cart. As you can see, okay, it is working perfectly. Now let me use the navigation. After we add some information, we need to navigate to go to product card. After we add the cart handler to add a card, we can remove the console.log now, and now we're gonna to navigate. So we need to use const navigate is equals to use navigate. Okay, so here after it is added, go to navigate to carts page. Okay, so in that regard, if we clear everything, if we go to add to cart, as you can see, it's added and it is redirecting us to that page. Also we need this navigation, these two lines. Let me copy this line again and go to our detail page, product detail page, and also here we also need to add use navigate. Okay, here we can add this, and here we can navigate cards also. Okay, now from the detail page as well, it is working nice. Use navigate is not defined, use navigate from the detail page. Okay, let me go to detail page and add 5 of the as well to add to cart, add it. Nice. Okay, so this work is done. Now let me work with our calculations a little bit. Okay, we'll go to cart slice so that we can add our calculation here. Okay, so that we can calculate our total amount of this price. So first we need to go to cart slice and we need to calculate some total subtotal. Okay, so here we're going to calculate. So calculate amount, calculate total amount. You're going to take action and stage. Also here, now how can we calculate the total amount? Okay, so we have to calculate something. We have a object to calculate cart total amount. We need to work with this. So cart total amount subtotal, and we're gonna write state dot cart items dot instead of filter, we're gonna work with reduce. This is also a higher order function that takes 2 parameters. First one is the accumulator and then the item, each item, because in the cart in each of the item we have its price, description, all of this information. Especially in the cart items, we need to have 2 information. First one is accumulator, and we need to add it and each item's quantity, because in the cart items this is an array. We need to go to each individual object and get its price and quantity. So how can we get the price? So in the item dot product, so in the item, this is the cart item, and make sure that we have to go to one level deep to product so that we can get the product information inside the cart. Okay, so and we need to go to its price. Okay, and we need to add item dot for the quantity. We don't need to go to product object because we already have it inside the cart directly. We can directly access cart item dot quantity. So make sure you just wrap it inside the first bracket again and multiplicate it, each of the price of the item time each of the items quantity of the cart item. So it gives total price and total subtotal. It gives subtotal, each individual product item with number of quantity that user have. Okay, in the carts. After that we need to add simple this 0. It means that it starts from 0 and add it one by one. So add this to multiplicate those 2 and add it with 0 and multiplicate this 2 and add this 2. So it is updating it like that. So similarly we have added, like say let total is equals to 0 and add those incrementally. Okay, side by side. For total amount, in the total amount we need to go to its state called total amount. So in the beginning it is 0 and it should be now subtotal. Okay, we should assign it. So in case we can use let if you have some problem, and make sure you wrap it inside number so that it works perfectly without any errors. So we need to calculate subtotal. So we need to go to our cart page, and in the cart page, as you can see, we'll definitely have a total. Okay, so how can we calculate this? We need to get this information. So how can we get this information? Similar to that, from the state, get the subtotal, get the cart total amount. So let me go to our cart slice, and this is the thing we want. This is the thing we want from our cart store. Okay, so let me remove it. We don't want this. So in the cart page, we need the cart information that is coming from the store, and also we're gonna get the cart total now, so that we can render this total amount. Okay, so here cart's total amount. So let me check it. So here we need to calculate subtotal each time cart items changes. Okay, so how can I do that? So we have to use effect. This is a lifecycle method of React, especially for the functional tree, and make sure you use like that. And here you can also call your API, all the thing in the all the good stuffs here, but here we have to calculate each time the cart item changes. So each time the cart item information changes, we need to call our dispatch something, and we need to dispatch calculate. We have to export that thing as well, because we have created this functionality to calculate total amount. We have to definitely export it, okay, so that we can use it onto our cart page. So it should be calculate total amount. When it should run this, when any information in the cart item changes, it is the dependency, or you can give one more dependency called dispatch, but there's nothing changing. When the information in the cart items changes, you need to calculate this subtotal and calculate total amount, and you need to get this data from the cart total amount from the store, and all the calculation will be done inside this store. Okay, so let me check. As you can see, now it is working properly. When you change anything, if you clear this, as you can see, it is calculated again, total amount is 0. So let me visual it perfectly. So if I just inspect it and go to our Redux, and let me add it to cart. As you can see, we have added the information to cart, and after we add something, as you can see, calculate total amount, this should be triggered because our array is now different. Array is filled with data. Okay, our array is filled with, in the action, as you can see, we have arrays filled with data, and this is the data that we just pass here, as you can see. Okay, so now if the cart items is changes, now it has some items. Now it should call the in the use effect, you should definitely call this calculate subtotal total amount. So and calculate total amount, as you can see, we are getting this same thing in the actions. As you can see, it calls calculate total amount each time you add this. If you remove this thing also, then it also calls calculate total amount, because it changes some item in the cart. So every time you change something, clear something, edit something into the cart item, add some product, it should calculate this again. And also from the increase and decrease, this is also very important, and also we have to check it for increase and decrease. Okay, so which item I am increasing? If it is already there, then we can increase this quantity. If it is not there, then there is nothing we have to do. For increase the quantity, you can just write it like that. You can get this code, very important to check it, and just write it. Okay, so find index, we are checking if this product is there. Okay, so if this product is exist. Okay, so if it exists, if existing item product index is greater than equal 0, then we're gonna go to state.cart items, and in the cart items we're gonna go to existing product item index and change this cart items quantity to +1. Okay, when you click on this increment quantity, this should trigger and increases quantity. And here you're gonna console.log action, action.payload. Okay, action.payload, so that we can check what we are getting. Increment action payload, so that you can at least understand what we are getting here if that doesn't work. Okay, so it is a very good check. So here I'm writing if this item exists in cart, then increment quantity by 1. You can definitely copy this code and paste it inside the decrement as well, and here we can just uncomment it. Just make sure you comment it out so that you don't need to focus on that. First, to focus on this increment, and its name is increment quantity. So for that we need to go to cart, and so we need to go to our increment. Okay, this plus sign, so it's inside our cart. Okay, so here we need to write cart dot. So I think these are the two SVG. This is for remove and this is for increment. So here on click, here on increment QTY handler. Okay, increment quantity handler, which information we want to pass here, and here we have the information for the cart. Okay, so this is the information then to pass, and for decrement as well we need to pass, we need to copy this thing, and this is for the decrement. Decrement quantity handler, and in the middle we have the cart quantity that we have, the current cart quantity, and we have to just call it now increment cart handler, then increment item quantity, and you're gonna pass this const increment, and here we have to pass cart, and similarly for the decrement, const decrement quantity handler, and also here we need to pass this, and this should be const decrement quantity handler, and similarly we need to pass the cart quantity, and here in the dispatch we have to dispatch something, and we already have it. So in the dispatch we need to call increment quantity. As you can see, it is coming from our beautiful cart slice, and this is for the increment, and this is for the decrement item quantity. Nice documentation. Always documentate your code, which is really nice, and you're going to pass the cart because this is the cart item we need to increase. We need to check it. We need to pass the whole cart. Okay, it should work. And also here you need to pass this handler on, so you need to pass the dispatch. Instead of increment, this should be decrement quantity. Okay, so we already passed increment, decrement, both of the functionality from the cart slice, and we are passing it from our UI component. This cart is definitely UI component, and we are passing the amount, this cart information. Make sure that you are passing this cart information. So we need to check if this product is already there. You need to go to its product.id. Okay, definitely inside this action.payload in the cart. Okay, so we are going into there. So +1, as you can see, it has increased definitely. And if when the cart item changes, any cart item information like its quantity, price, anything changes, we call the calculate total amount again. So we call our increment quantity functionality. When you click on this increment quantity, this cart information is going into this cart slice, and we can action.payload. As you can see here, I already console.log that. Console.log that. As you can see, increment action payload, we get the information. Let me check which information we get. Okay, so we have two things. One is product and quantity. So we need to get the product by object because we are passing this object. Okay, so instead of this, we don't need to check it again. So here action.payload dot product dot action.payload, we need to go to product.id. So now it should work. Okay, so this is information, and also cart already have the product, and we need to check this again. If it is already there, okay, it means that if it is matched, the equal, then it is already there. Okay, and if it is greater than 0, it means that there is some items. Then we need to go to its particular product index, cart index in the cart, and change its quantity and increment it by 1, Very simple logic. Okay, so we're gonna understand everything how it is working. Okay, so it is working. As you can see now, our total is changing. Total is changing. Beautiful. If I just refresh it, let me check. Okay, it also worked, and it also saved the state to the cards. Now if I just check it to our cards and remove it, and let me go to local storage, get item, and this should be cart items. Okay, as you can see, we have two product information, as you can see, and we need to go to product, and these are the cart information. So in order to access this cart product information, we definitely here we have gone into item.product to check if this product is already there. Okay, and this is the action.payload we passed there. In the action.payload, we check that we passed this product information again. So we have successfully added this also, and inside this Redux also, as you can see, increment quantity is incremented all of the thing. In the cart also, as you can see, we have incremented the product information, and this is the second one is the 1+ in the cart items, and here I have incremented the quantity. If I just change it to +13, and if you go to there, as you can see, it is changes to 13. If I change it to again 14, again it is called item quantity is called, and it changes this quantity to +14. Redux is helping us a lot in business logic, and it is completely separate. As you can see, it is completely separate inside another page, or into cart slice into the Redux store. All the thing we're handling in different pages, and there is no HTML, CSS, or any other thing here. All of the code is handling in a different segment, in a different store. It's called Redux store, and we are using this functionality. We are getting the information from our cart component. As you can see, by handler we are passing this information using the dispatch from our UI to Redux, and Redux is giving us some information, like in if we go to product page or cart page, we are just getting the item from the store from our UI. Okay, very simple logic, very simple way we are accessing this information, and we can access this information from any page, not only this cart page, from our navbar as well. From our navbar, if we just go to our navbar here, we can also very easily get the total cart items in nav section. Selector, use selector. Here you're gonna go to state, and we're gonna go to state.carts. State.carts, make sure you type check it, it works really well. And cart items.length. If we are just getting the total cart items, and here we can just go and inside there we can pass cart items dot length. Okay, isn't it beautiful, guys? It's really awesome that you get this data. See, it's beautiful. If you get 0, it is cleared. There is nothing there. So add more items and add these items as well. As you can see, we have 2 items, so you can directly access any information from any places. So that's how the beautiful thing the Redux is. You can just call this use selector and get the data from your Redux store, whatever you saved in the cart item, which is a decrement. So decrement is also very important, and you want to check if this quantity is 0, then it removes from your application. So this is the last part that we are working on. So then we have to work with our remove, so cart slice, and remove is quite simple, quite similar to that. You can just do this. We know how we are passing this data. In the decrement also we are passing the cart, so we should go action.payload.product.id for increment, and because we are passing the whole cart information, it also same. If existing cart item index is greater than 0, greater than or equal 0, then we can just make it negate it. Okay, so this should work. So let me check, and we added the decrement handler into this on click. As you can see it, but we cannot go minus. So that's the problem, we cannot go into minus segment. So how we can do that? So for that, if it is greater than, then we can, if it is greater than 0, it means that the item is there, then the quantity should decrease by 1. And if we need to check this logic, very important. If the quantity equals 0, then remove this item. and existing product cart items that we are checking if this item that we want to if this is the item that we're checking, we are working on this item, and so that's why we need to go to its quantity. We need to check if this product's quantity is equals to 0, then we need to remove this item. So we need to make sure to remove this, then remove this. Okay, so it should be remove this. So what we can do, we can write state.cartitem.splice that index by 1. It will splice means it will remove this product index. So let me check it works or not. Okay, it removes. Okay, if we just go to 0, it will remove the item. So how beautiful is that? You can do this by this way, or there is another way, which is state.cartitems.filter. State.cartitems.filter. There is this way, and we need to go to each item.product id, which is not is equals to action.payload.product.id. Okay, so this is the thing we are passing. We are checking if this product that we are passing is not is equals to this, then we need to filter out all the item except this one that user wants to delete. Okay, except this, all the cart items product would be there except this one. So we're gonna save it into filtered items, and we need to store.cart items. We're gonna set it to filtered items. Okay, and then we're gonna save this to local storage again. Okay, let me check it if that happens. Let's save it and you go to cart. We don't have anything in the cart. We are now adding it. We are adding this cart. We are adding this. Suppose I want to remove this 0. Okay, it is removed. So in the cart we have only one information and the quantity is 5. Okay, clear it out. So let me add it again. As you can see, it is added. If I just make sure the quantity is 0, it is removed. So this works just fine without any issues. And add it from here. It's just 10 items, and also it is added, and we can increase on that as well. And as you can see, our total cost is changing. So this code runs beautifully without any issues, and you can get this code as well. So after this project is completely done, and we have only one section left, which is wishlist. After it is done, you can do all the stuff. So this video is already very long. I think you're gonna understand a lot of things in this particular video. I hope you guys gain a lot of idea from this video, and you're gonna share it, like it, and subscribe as much as possible. So till then, take care, bye bye, and see you in the next video.